Here's what every beginner should do in order to become a professional investor. The other day I was getting out of my car and somebody came up to me. They're like, hey man, I love what you do. I'm just starting out in investing. What can I do in order to become a professional investor and make investing my full-time job? So I spoke to the person a little bit. I found out what they do. This guy was working in sales, so he was not loving his job. He wanted to transition out of this career into something that's way more passive so that he could focus on doing the things that he loves instead of spending all of his time in an office, in a cubicle, working, right? So he was asking me, hey, what can I do in order to improve my investor skills, right? So I recommended 3 things to him. Number 1 is increasing his active income. So if you're investing $50 or maybe even $10,000, to be honest, it's not gonna make much of a difference. And the thing is that even if you make a 50% return on $10,000, that's only $5,000. For most people, $5,000 a year is not life-changing money. It's not gonna make a difference. Assuming you wanna leave your job, it's not gonna get you to that goal of leaving your job. So it makes it a little bit difficult for most investors to decide what to invest in because they're investing less than $10,000. But really what they're looking for is investments that are going to be life-changing. It's not about the investment, it's about the impact that the investment has on your quality of life. So number 1 is focusing on increasing our active income. So this person right here, he has a couple options, right? Number 1, he could try and get a promotion, maybe to sales manager or more of a leadership role where he's gonna get overrides from an entire team. That's gonna increase the amount of money that he's making from his job. The other option that he has is maybe starting a side hustle, right? Some people sell real estate on the side. Some people, I'm sure you've all heard of Gary Vee. Gary Vee does garage selling. So some people go to garage sales, they buy something cheap, and then they resell it for more expensive online or in another marketplace, right? So they're taking advantage of that arbitrage between the price that they found it at and what the actual market value of that item is. That's a great model, but to be honest, it's probably not gonna make you a millionaire. Some people even trade watches, right? There are people out there that go out, they buy watches for very, very cheap as they can find them, and then they maybe polish them a little bit, clean them up a little bit. Sometimes these watches need a little bit of TLC, maybe some repair, and then they resell them for a higher price online or in another marketplace where they can see that this watch is worth more than what they paid for it. So increasing your active income is really one of the biggest keys that we can use in order to start building our passive income portfolio. And so step number 2 that I shared with him is making sure that you're not spending any extra money. So if you can decrease your expenses to be 20 or 30% of the amount of money that you're making every month, you're definitely gonna be on the path to building a passive income portfolio. And so if you could just imagine for a second, let's say you make $5,000 a month and then you started garage sailing or you started flipping watches, right? So you make another $5,000 a month. Okay, great. You've literally doubled your income. That's a good start, right? But now, instead of spending $5,000 a month like you used to, you decrease that to be $2,000 a month, right? And for some people, that means moving back in with their parents, right? Usually the biggest expense for people is their rent. And so if you're able to decrease your expenses, you're now making $10,000 a month, you're only spending $2,000. Well, now you have $7,000 or $8,000 that you could spend on educating yourself, number 1. Number 2, beginning to invest into these passive income opportunities, right? So after a couple months, if you're saving up $8,000 a month, after 4 months, you've got $32,000. $32,000 could potentially make a difference in your lifestyle. It's definitely the start to building a passive income portfolio. You invest $8,000 a month, that passive income portfolio at the end of the year is gonna be almost $100,000. 8 times 12 is 96. That's almost $100,000 that's gonna be invested in the market just because you did 2 simple things. Number 1, you started a side hustle that's gonna make you a little bit more money every month. Number 2, you started spending less. You can't expect to build a massive investment portfolio if you're spending all of your income every single month. That's a very dangerous way to live because at that point, you're just 1 month away from bankruptcy. What if you lose your job? What if you get hurt? What if you get sick? You never want to be in a position where you're 1 month away from bankruptcy. You always want to make sure that you're making more than you're spending and significantly more. The bigger you can make that difference, the better for you. And finally, number 3, the third thing that I recommended to him is to find people that he looks up to in the investment world and find ways to be around those people, right? Some people will give you the opportunity to just hang out with them or network with them, or if they don't, if they're closed off, a lot of these high profile investors are very closed off, and the only way that you can get to them is by being at an event that they're at. So maybe paying for an admission ticket, maybe paying for a backstage pass or some sort of VIP pass where you get the opportunity to meet this person. Because guys, let me tell you, it's not even about something big or massive revelation that you get from these people, right? Sometimes it's just a couple simple words. For example, if you came to an event and Warren Buffett was speaking, and you don't have to spend a massive amount of time with him. You don't even have to spend an hour or 30 minutes with him. You could literally just hear one thing that this man says to you and apply it to your life, and that could be the thing that changes your investment portfolio. It could be that one thing that makes you $1 million. If we hear one little idea, it could spark something in you that helps you grow your business to the next level, that helps you scale your investment portfolio past what it was hitting years and years before, right? Because sometimes you hear something and you might even have heard it before, but it depends who you hear it from as well, right? So if you hear it from somebody that you really respect, somebody that you really, really look up to, when they say it, you might be like, you know what? That's right. Maybe I should do this, or maybe I should try this. And so you start trying these ideas that you hear and that you learn, and you start really building an investment portfolio in a business that's truly grounded on a solid foundation and also has the ability to scale to the next level. So guys, those 3 things. Number 1, increasing your active income. Make sure that you're finding ways to increase your active income to the point where you're able to start saving more of that money. And that leads me into step 2. Step 2, you want to make sure that you save as much money as you possibly can, guys. Reduce your expenses. It's better to decrease the things that you're buying every month in order to increase the amount of things you can buy later on, right? This little amount of money that you're saving now is going to grow into a much larger amount of money when you invest it. Number 3, getting around the right people, whether it's events, maybe it's masterminds you need to be a part of, or communities. Find the people that you want to be around and do whatever it takes to be around these people. If it means paying to join a mastermind, pay to join the mastermind. If it means serving them in some way that you're able to, maybe providing a service or helping them out with something, find those people, get around them. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all on the next video.